Hello. My name is Jasmine, and right now I'm coming on January 2nd, 2024, with a little God time for women. I bought this devotional at some point during 2023, so a large part of the beginning I never saw, and I definitely missed some pages throughout the rest of the book. So I set this intention to come on every single day, and as long as it's before midnight, I'm taking it one step at a time, one day at a time personally. And I want this to be a habit for us to grow together. And I could definitely say that there have been many days reading in the morning to prepare myself for the day or to look for God throughout the day according to the daily reading. And there were times where, because I planned on reading it before bed, or if I just missed it earlier, I read it at the end of the day and I'm like, oh my gosh, Lord, that's how my day went. Like this, like it increased how much I felt like, wow, God, that was you, because I didn't know how the book was going to put God into my perspective, but I saw God in retrospect, as well as it allowed for me to experience the day naturally and authentically and still glorify God and see how God lives in me and throughout my life on the days where I start my day reading a devotional or not. So this book is called A Little God Time for Women. You can look for it at choicebooks.com, and they're powered or provided by christianbook.com. I shop at Christian Book. I have for years. They have jewelry, blankets, Bibles, of course, even homeschooling materials. That's a store. So go ahead and get some of your spiritual support and other leisurely items at christianbook.com. This in particular, I know on the label here says choicebooks.com, but they're connected. So, jumping into this, I'm going to read again the opening page here for January and then proceed to our reading for January 2nd. You are so intimately aware of me, Lord. You read my heart like an open book, and you know all the words I'm about to speak before I even start a sentence. You know every step I will take before my journey even begins. That's Psalm 139, verse 3 and 4 in the TPT version. I don't know what that stands for, but one thing I do like about this devotional is that its verses are found in different versions of the Bible. So now we'll have our reading, January 2nd, 2024. Actually, what I now am acknowledging is that this is a 365 daily devotional book. It's not for any one single year. So I actually did fold a few pages in my latter months of 2023. So I wonder how I'll see some of these devotionals or have a sense of, yes, I knew I folded this page for a reason. And at this point, though, January through spring, summerish, I haven't seen. So I'm really excited to hear God through this devotional and share it with you. The title on this page says, What God Says About You. In a memorable scene from a movie about teenage girls, a teenager asks a gymnasium full of young women to close their eyes and raise their hands if they've ever said anything bad about another girl. Virtually every hand was raised. The reason this scene rings true is that it is true. And sadly, we are often even harder on ourselves. We know what movie that is, right? They're about to do a remake of it, actually. In addition to the amazing news that Mary would bear God's son, the angel who visits her in Luke chapter 1 also tells Mary of her goodness, of her favor in God's eyes. Mary was a teenage girl. Chances are she'd heard and thought something less than kind about herself on more than one occasion. Consider her brave, beautiful response. Mary responded, "I am the Lord's servant. May everything you have said about me come true." And then the angel left her. Luke chapter 1, verse 38 in the New Living Translation. So the letters here, NLT. Whew. So yesterday was the first day I did this, and I did like that some, if not most, of these have questions in their closing prompt. I want to interact with you on this and answer personally and close this out so you can also have some quiet time with God and look at yourself and allow God to speak to you within. Are you self-critical? Yeah, definitely. Yes. Oh my gosh. Like, I'm being too quiet about this. Yes. Oh. If asked to describe yourself, what would you say? Over the last year, give or take, I've actually boldly acknowledged or proclaimed I am a judgmental person. I'm critical. And it was a source or sense of empowerment for me to refuse to accept that as a negative thing people will label you with as an insult. If you are, you are. That doesn't make you a bad person. Acknowledge it, but you have to, or you should, or it'd be wiser and kinder and more conducive to many environments to be attentive to your judgmental habits and aware when your critical thoughts do come out or shouldn't, or, do I have to say it now or do I have to say it this way? Do I need to live out my opinion? So I'm trying to be less critical of myself, and it's a journey. I even had a moment earlier today feeling feelings and allowing God to fix my perspective. I will say that on my platform, Restoration Catalyst Instagram, if you go to the videos section, you can find a series titled Fix Your Perspective. And for me, that teaching represents to face, internalize, correct, and soothe your perspective. Everybody has a role to play in the story. There are so many different points of views in a multitude of scenarios. It really helps. I mean, I don't do it every day, but as often as I do fix my perspective, or God helps to fix my perspective, I am so much wiser and less upset for it. Now, think of someone who loves you. What do they say about you? That's a tough one. Like, hearing that first sentence, think of someone who loves you. I want to think of all of the nice things that a person has ever said to me, but I think of that question, what do they say about you? And immediately I'm washed over with what negative things other people have said about me, because even those individuals have used the phrase, I love you. And a part of my healing at this period of my life, I don't think I have a specific start time, and there's definitely no end time. I'm in it at this time, but over the last few, I don't want to say years, but definitely since a point in 2023, I'm becoming more attentive to my hindrance or holding back my purpose and all that God created me to be because of negativity that I heard and believed from individuals who love me, so to speak. So correcting that or fixing this perspective now, I'm distancing from that hurt point of view. And if I target my thoughts onto the people who've only shown me positivity, and in their I love you, I've never experienced X, Y, and Z. I'm not even gonna say the words coming to my mind because it doesn't cover everything, but I really didn't want to just blanket it with the word negative. But I know that I've been called a force of nature or a force to be reckoned with. I've been called powerful. I've been called gorgeous. I've been complimented on how friendly and energetic I am. Decide today to let those words and God's words be the truth. Join Mary in saying to God, may everything you have said about me come true. God, may everything you have said about me be true. Whew. I ask that God gives us the courage and confidence to live out what the Lord says about us. I'm not a child, but I am a child of God. Continue tuning in, subscribe, share these videos, and keep growing with God.